Hello, all the way from sunny South Florida.
Central.
Oh,
It's
Central,
not,
yeah, see?
It's not south anymore.
No, Central Florida. It's still sunny, still hot,
Rainy.
still rainy. If you watch our vlogs, obviously, you know we just got back from New York, and we wanted to give you guys some tips on traveling to New York, like top 10 tips of traveling to New York with kids, because we have kids, and New York's a big city.
It's a big city. It's a very big city.
Very big.
But before we start that, it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. There was a lot to do because it is so big. We tried some really amazing pizza. We saw the memorial for the trade centers. That was quite depressing. That was pretty sad. I think I had the chills the entire time. We tried to explain it to Bella. She didn't really get it. She didn't really understand, but it is a sight to see for sure.
Now on with the tips.
That's it? I don't want to tell them how your trip went?
Well, you can't start the video by saying we're going to give you tips and then go on a 6-minute rant about how good your trip was.
Wow. Okay. I'll let him.
Our top 10 tips for traveling to New York with kids are, first one is, if you're driving, we drove our car from Florida to New York. It was a long drive, and then we stayed with Mary's family in Jersey, so we stayed there, and then we drove to New York every day, back and forth. So some good tips as far as driving is, make sure you definitely budget money for tolls.
And bridges.
Well, yeah, tolls.
Tolls, bridges, and tunnels.
Because if you're not from a big city, like we're not used to tolls, and the tolls there are expensive. It's $15 to $20 every bridge, every tunnel you want to go over. The roads are, $3 to $7 to drive on. So definitely make sure you budget for tolls. Another thing, if you're going to drive your car into the city, you're going to have to pay for parking, usually. There are some free parking spots you can find on the street, but parking, make sure you budget for parking. And it's expensive. We parked our car for...
like maybe 3 hours.
I think it was like 2 to 3 hours. It was $57 to park the car in a parking garage for 2 to 3 hours.
That's insanity.
Yeah, it's crazy. So make sure if you're driving your car to New York and you're going to take it into the city, definitely budget money for tolls. It's going to be expensive. It's going to cost you $40 a day just to get in and out of the city, at least. Doesn't include parking. Tip number 2, once again, if you're from a big city, you probably know this, but we don't because we're from Central Florida, the boonies.
No, well, I wouldn't say boonies. It's more of like the
suburbs.
Well, I don't even know what you call it. But anyway, everything's quite basic. It's pretty basic. It's not,
It's not confusing.
Right. You read a sign that says "Don't park here." You just don't park there.
That's tip number 2. The parking signs.
I know.
The parking signs and general directions, as far as that go, are very confusing in New York. Sometimes there's a pole that has 4 to 6 signs on it, and you have to sit there and decipher whether you can actually park there or not.
Like arrows going that way and that way, so it means you kind of can't park which way. I mean, it's weird.
But those arrows only count Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday between 6 and 7. Like, it's just...
Or you can park all day, all week until Friday. It's really weird.
It's very confusing. Like, if you watched our video, even we parked somewhere, we weren't sure if we could park there, so we asked one of the cops there if we can park, and he looked over and goes... I guess so. I don't really know. It looks good. If you get a ticket, just take a picture and send it to them. Maybe they'll waive the ticket. That's basically what he told me. So we didn't park there because if the cops don't know, you're probably going to get a ticket.
And I asked a parking enforcement guy, and he goes, "Well, I don't see why not." He goes, "Is there a fire hydrant there?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well, I don't think so." Well, don't you think you should know that?
Right, so parking on the street, be very careful.
Yeah.
Tip number 3 is really for Times Square specifically. This really seemed to be the only place it was a problem was the stroller. Try not to bring a stroller into Times Square. We did notice a lot of people that had, I don't know, the baby Bajorn things where you put the baby onto you with a strap type maneuver thing.
That's the best way to go.
Definitely recommend that. Mary brought the stroller in for Lucky, and as you know, it's very congested there, so you could not, it was very hard to get in and out of the stores and just generally walk around.
And and I'm here pushing him, and so is everybody else, but he's all the way up there. So, people are, going this way and that way and this way. And his legs are there, his face is there.
Nobody cares.
And that was too far away from me. From me to where he was sitting was too far away. They should really be close to you.
And also, if you do take your kids to Times Square, be careful what's around as far as street performers. We saw, a lot of them were nice. There was like one playing a saxophone, one playing another instrument, a couple guys preaching about religion, which, that's all fine and dandy. But then we saw one that was like...
they were naked.
Yeah, they had tighty whities on and with like baby masks on, doing some weird dancing. And it just, it wasn't inappropriate, but I don't think was appropriate for kids.
Personally, my suggestion is if you're gonna go to Times Square and you're gonna hang out with your friends or your family, and you do have your kids, do it during the day, early in the day, nighttime, when the street lights come on and everything's all. That's when I would suggest no children, because it does get a bit hectic.
But the nighttime is a better spot to watch it because you actually get the full effect of the humongous billboards. But just take that in consideration with bringing your kids, because it is kind of hit or miss. Also with Times Square specifically, it's very dirty. There's a lot of trash everywhere. The whole city, there's a lot of trash in the whole city, but Times Square, like everything was just overflowing with trash. So if your kids are very handsy, make sure you keep an extra eye on them.
Yes. Bella wanted to sit here and touch that and touch it, but they're literally, people take their garbage and literally just toss it to the floor. I've never seen anything like it.
Tip number 4, don't eat the vendor food.
Well, wait a minute. See, nope, stop it. Some of it is okay. Like they have, I had before this particular trip a long time ago, they have the natural fruit smoothies. Those are good. Some of the other stuff is good. He was told not to eat this particular thing.
Let me rephrase.
Cautious.
Be picky about what you eat. Like obviously stuff that's prepackaged, like Bella had ice cream, it was prepackaged stuff is going to be great. The hot dog, I was warned, I think they called them dirty water hot dogs. I was warned not to eat them. But, hey, New York's famous for their carts, so I wanted to try it. You don't want to try it. It's disgusting. It's like just bloated with water, filled with air. It's just like the texture is disgusting. It tastes disgusting. It's disgusting.
The hot dog was it just was a sad hot dog. We told him not to do it, and he...
Try to stick things that are either prepackaged or fresh made, like a fruit smoothie with they cut up the fruits and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we have very mixed signals on the vendor card, so make sure be picky about it. Tip number 5 is, it's pretty common everywhere you go, but we felt a heightened sense of this when we went there. You really need to be aware of your surroundings. We travel with 2 kids, and we travel with cameras and phones and wallets, just like I'm sure most people do. So, and we noticed a couple times people were watching us, watching our kids, watching the camera, and staring at us, and it made us feel uncomfortable. So just be aware of what's going on around you. I kept my wallet in my front pocket, or if you're in the winter time, I guess keep it in a nice closed jacket pocket. I don't know, I've never worn a jacket. Never below 50 here, so I never wear a jacket. But make sure your stuff's in places that you feel is secure. Make sure you keep a close eye on your kids. So that brings us to tip number 6, which we didn't do and we kind of regret doing.
Very much so.
But you should really embrace the public transportation there. It's obviously there for a reason, and we definitely experienced the reason. The traffic is just insane. You definitely, if you are driving, this kind of goes back to tip number 1. If you are driving, you got to plan your trip around rush hour. It's kind of stupid sounding, but it's the facts. Like 7 to 9:30, you really shouldn't be traveling, and 3 to 6, you really shouldn't be traveling. As far as cars go, sure, public transportation is hectic, but countless times we were just at a standstill, waiting to go somewhere.
Yep.
This one time we were going towards the Holland Tunnel, trying to get into the tunnel, and the line was literally like 6 blocks. They don't call them streets. 6 blocks back. So you essentially had to drive past the whole line, turn around just to get into line to get into the tunnel.
I actually think if you look on your maps, my map showed a whole huge red line through the whole entire tunnel. So it looked like the cops were not letting anybody in. I'm assuming maybe something happened inside. I mean, it is quite small. It's very small, very confined.
I know it's extra money for the public transportation. So if you're staying outside the city like we did, it is extra money to get to where you need to go, but it's worth it. And it's probably more of an experience for the kids too than sitting in the same car they've been sitting in for the last 24 hours.
Yes.
You ride the ferry, the trains. So I think next time we'll still bring our car, I think, but we'll probably venture into the public transportation sector, just because I think we enjoy it and spend more time looking at New York instead of sitting in traffic in New York.
Yeah, and there's a lot more to see, right? If you take the ferry, you could see all of New York or all of Brooklyn, or, you could see a lot more instead of a building, because you're stuck in traffic and you're just aggravated. And people just, they don't care. They cut you off.
You have to be very aggressive driver when you're there. It's that, or else you won't get anywhere. Because if you're leaving space for people, safe-wise, like, we do down here, we're usually pretty safe drivers ourselves.
Right.
So if you're leaving space in front of you, people are going to just cut you off. So you have to make sure you close the space.
Yeah, you have to be aggressive, but,
And I know this is kind of not really part of the tip from the beginning of this, but nobody obeys the speed limit in New York. If it's 45, everybody's going 60, 70. And while that's unsafe, it's probably even more unsafe for you to be going as slow as the speed limit, because people literally are just zooming around. And that brings us to tip number 7. Now, we are very much against toddler leashes. So this tip is going to sound like one, but it's not. And I could understand why somebody would use it when visiting New York, especially Times Square. We hate them. We think they're terrible for kids. It's whatever. I can understand why they would use it though in this specific situation. And I kind of did it with Bella, but my backpack I wore through the city, it had an extra long strap, and I had her hold on to it unless she was holding somebody's hand, and she walked with me. So I would definitely recommend having that sort of system. Even if you hate the toddler leash like us, maybe come up with something like tying a rope to you and having your kid hold it, or wrapped around her hand, something like that. Because I know the leash, I know what it seems like, what it looks like. We don't like it. But having something like that just kind of gives you a little extra layer of security, I think.
Yeah, it's not even more the fact that, my Bella's going to run off and disappear somewhere. It's not even that. It's she could, get bumped, and then there's a trail of people, and then Bella's over there, like instantly like that. It's that easy for somebody to just, bang into her really quick, or, whatever, and then just tons of people surround her, and it's just like weird.
Right. Bella,
and she's little compared to all these people.
Right, Bella wouldn't really run off, so she could easily get lost in a sea of people if she happened to get bumped while she was looking at something, and then just 100 people come in front of her. She would just be confused. Right. So definitely some sort of system to make sure your toddler can always hold on to you, because like my hands are generally full when we go out. I have the cameras, I have my phone, taking pictures of stuff, videotaping stuff, so my hands are generally full. Mary has a stroller, so I had to come up with a little bit of a system for Bella, and I think the strap on my backpack worked well. She was either holding a hand or holding onto that, and she really didn't get lost at all. Like, she was always right next to us.
This leads us to tip number 8.
She caught on.
Due to the fact that he just said he had his phone, his backpack, his this, his that, I would suggest pack small so that you don't have so much stuff to worry about, including with the kids and everything. It's, you pack one bag, you bring all the stuff that you need. You don't need to bring 3 cameras. You probably only need to bring 1.
Dedication.
It is, but, if you have one person who has a wallet, put everything that you need in one wallet, or, I would, pack small, because if you're taking public transportation, you know, you're packing it, you're unpacking it, you're opening up the stroller, you're doing this, you're doing that, you know.
Minimize everything you bring with you. If you don't need it, leave it where hotel or the house you're staying at. And definitely don't let the kids bring extra like stuffed animals. Bella always begged us to bring her little lion and her little snow leopard or tiger.
Snow kitty.
Snow kitty. Just don't let them bring it. As much as they may love it, it's one, something else for you to worry about that it doesn't get lost. Two, the city is filthy. It's just going to get dirty and you're not going to want them to have it anyway. And three, it's just more stuff for you to lug around.
Right, and anything that falls on the floor, just put it in a bag and don't let them have it.
Right.
we piles of vomit literally in corners. So it is very,
there's a lot of people in a small area, so it gets dirty fast. And tip number 9, anything you want to do, make sure you buy tickets before you go if you can, if they let you. It'll save you a tremendous amount of time. When we went to the Freedom Tower, we wanted to go, but Bella really didn't want to go, and Lucky hates elevators, and you'll know why that's relevant in a second. So make sure you buy tickets, because the line we saw wrapped around the tower, and the guy there said it was about an hour and a half wait just to buy your ticket, and then you had to wait to go on the elevator. And a cool fact about it is the elevator goes from the floor to the 104th floor in 25 seconds.
What?
Fast elevator.
Hence why we didn't put Lucky on it.
Lucky hates elevators, so we really wanted to go. We thought about maybe I go and then she goes, but that would have took less. That would have been less fun. So maybe we'll try next time when the kids are a little older.
Now it is, because now I remember and I know it is $37 per ticket. So that is
yeah, it's a little pricey.
Yeah, if you have tons of group people, but it is once in a lifetime kind of thing. So if you really want to do that,
the guy said you could see Connecticut from New York. It sounds far. I don't know how far that is, but it sounds like it's far. It's 104 stories up, so you're going to be high up there.
Yeah. But back to the tickets, the Freedom Tower you pay for, I think the Empire State Building you pay for, the museum tickets that you paid for.
That's not how you should go through this. You should start telling them what you don't pay for. Hold on, let's think about it for a second. No, you pay for everything.
Yeah, except maybe the air that you breathe, but that air is dirty, so you could, I mean... Right,
if you want filtered air, they'll charge you for that.
No, just kidding.
We didn't come across anything in New York that was free to look at, except the 9/11 memorial, which I swear to God, if they start charging people for that, that would just be a crime to humanity.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can look at the Statue of Liberty for free. You can see from our video, but you're not going to be very close.
Right.
And you can look at all the buildings for free, obviously, but any sort of attraction, if you want to call them attraction, it's going to charge you.
It is quite expensive for what you're...
Like certain things, like Statue of Liberty, I think was like $16. I mean, that's not bad.
Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't too expensive. But certain specialty things like the Freedom Tower and the Empire State Building are going to be a little expensive.
And if you don't already know, I'm not sure if you know, but if you do want to go see the Statue of Liberty and you want to go all the way up to the torch, you do have to walk up the stairs.
And our final tip, maybe we'll have a bonus tip, but our final tip is make sure you bring or you're going to buy plenty of water and have like a stroller or something, or take breaks on benches for your kids, because if your kids are like Bella's age, like 5, 6, it's a lot of walking. It's summertime, it's very hot.
It was very hot.
So make sure you plan for that. Plan to stop at a restaurant or plan to take breaks. Plan to drink a lot, because you are going to need a break. It's just what it is. It's sort of like going to Disney. It's just hot. There's a lot of people. So make sure you plan for that. And also, the side tip about walking a lot, there isn't that many bathrooms.
Yeah, no.
Bathrooms are a big problem. I mean, there's restaurants and hotels and stuff that have bathrooms, but they won't let you use them because you're either not staying there, you didn't buy a drink, you didn't buy food. But if you know your kid's going to need the bathroom a lot, make sure you plan accordingly. Make sure you know where to go where there's a bathroom, or just plan to go into places that have bathrooms that will let you, that you'll buy water from that you can drink and use the bathroom. Some places don't have bathrooms at all, so you gotta really just pay attention to that. Whenever you see one, make sure you ask, hey, you gotta go to the bathroom.
Bonus tip.
Uh-oh.
Ka-da-ching! Okay. I know this kind of goes back to tip number 1, sort of, But bonus tip, if you do bring your car and you do park it on the street for free, good luck to you.
Hey, no, we found one. It did take us like a half hour.
We did, and a nice gentleman said, do you guys want to park? And it was actually a really good parking spot because it was right in front and you only had to worry about a crazy person behind you.
Yeah, it was right on a dead-end street. I know that sounds scary in New York, but it was in the financial district. It was a nice part of town, and it was right on the end. The guy we were looking around. The guy goes, hey, you guys want a spot? We go, yes, please. And he zoomed away. And we actually could have left it. Our car could still be there. I think
Friday morning, today's Thursday.
We left, the car was there Tuesday. There was no parking Monday and no parking Friday. So we could have left it there from Tuesday till Thursday at 12, and we'd still be fine. We should have sold somebody that spot. Now,
back to what I was saying. Make sure you find like a street sign where you're parked, like a major intersection or something that you remember where your car is. Because if you do so happen to venture out and walk and go here and there, you're not thinking, because everything kind of sort of looks the same. Building, oh geez. So you should probably pay attention to where you leave your car, because we did lose it slightly a little bit.
Use landmarks to your advantage. Like we knew if we were looking at the tower from the south, we knew we were to the left of the tower. And also, like we have on our phone a app for our car, and we could have marked where we parked, and I'm sure there's other apps that do the same thing. But ours malfunctioned. It still said we were in Jersey. So if you are going to use one of those apps, make sure it's saved and updated before you leave your car, because it would help you immensely. Especially if you're going to be walking around all day. Like we only walked around for how long? 3 hours, 4 hours, and we got lost.
I got another bonus tip. Sort of back to sort of the car thing. If you love your car and you don't want scratches and dings and all that kind of fun stuff like I do, be very careful where you do park, because they don't care. They will hit your car. They will scratch the side, because it's all parallel parking. So they will hit your bumper. They will scratch your bumper just to get out if they can't get out. We saw a few cars where the front and the back were like as if a cat went.
Oh, and we did see.
Literally.
We actually did see, what us Floridians would classify as an accident. This guy was sitting in his car with his wife and kid. This old guy went to go park, and he, a little fender bender, bumped into him.
Kind of like one of these, boom.
Right, like that. And the guy just gets out. The guy whose car was here, he gets out and goes, "Can you move forward? I gotta get out."
What?
Like nothing ever happened. Like in Florida, the cops would have been there. People's necks would have been broken.
Oh my God! Yeah, call the insurance company.
Right.
No, not there. Oh, you hit my car. Whatever. It's okay. So if you wanna rent a car or purchase the bumpers, people have bumpers. They look like
they're called
big carpets.
They're called bumper bullies. They're like
bullies or buddies.
Bully. They're like thick plastic things that, go over your bumpers. They seem to help because a lot of people have them. Anyway, this is getting a little long now. Hope you enjoyed our top 10 tips for visiting New York City with your kids. Some of them were for kids, some of them were just general tips, things we learned along the way. It's definitely a different world if you're not used to the city.
Nope.
And that's really it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we go back to our normal vlogs. I know we took the day off, but hey, we were tired. The vlog would have been boring anyway. It was us 22 hours in the car. I'm sure you didn't want to see that. Tomorrow back for the fun, even though we're actually going to be in the car. But
we're going to be in the car.
Yeah, we got to go get Boomer. So anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace.
Bye. And remember, our videos are always made with love.
Always.
Always. Even this one, even if it's boring. Bye, honey.
Bye.
Good night.
Peace.
Peace.
Later, bro.
See you later.